Hey, my English loving friend. I'm here today to talk about a topic which I wrote about a few days ago in my newsletter, and that's study habits. Now, um, it's all about habits, atomic habits. You know the book by James Clear. So the book isn't so popular for no reason. We are all consisted of these little things we do during the day, and we become those things actually. So we become our habits. We are our habits from the moment we wake up until the time we go to bed. We are going into these little, um we are finishing these little circles of habits that we do. So even our work that we do, it becomes a habit. And the way we do things, it's all like orchestrated, and these are like little routines. um but these routines are actually our habits. So it's all about habits. Anyway, I'm gonna move on and talk about study habits. So there are certain things you can do when studying that can really help you make progress. Now, I'm a teacher. I believe I'm an important cog in this machine. Kidding. So, teachers are important, in the study process. It's important what teacher you choose. Um, it's, it's important what book you choose, what books you choose, what reference books you decide to work on. But, all those things are not as important as you are. Now, you are the critical factor in this study process. I'm here to push you. I'm here to hold you accountable. I'm here to tell you do this and this and this and this. So I will organize your studying. I will provide you with some. I will try to provide you with these perfect conditions for you to study, but I can't do the work for you. So you are this critical factor. You need to do the work for yourself. You need to be organized, you need to be disciplined, and you need to develop these good study habits if you really want to do this, effectively. So if you want to become a super learner, and my goal is to make my students super learners, there are certain things you should do so often that they become habits. Thing number one, you should spend some regular out of class time working on your English. Now, steady commitment is a much surer guarantee of success than occasional bursts of activity. So it's better to aim for 20 minutes 5 times a week, and do the work. It doesn't have to be 20 minutes, it can be 5 minutes. You can say, okay, I'm gonna study for 5 minutes each day, and these 5 minutes will usually turn into 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 or an hour. But just tell yourself, I'm gonna study for 5 minutes every day. So put it in your calendar, in your diary. So I'm gonna study for 5 minutes each day, and that's it. That's enough. And it is usually enough because it will turn into a little bit more time. And it's better to do it 5 times a week, these like 5 minutes, 5 times a week, and do that, then plan for 2 hours once a week or 5 hours once a week and not do it because it's overwhelming. Like, who's gonna, study for 5 hours? I mean, okay, sometimes, if we are getting ready for an exam and the exam is in like next week, then you'll probably study for 5 hours a day, but that's not something we're gonna do every single day and make it a habit. You're not crazy, okay? Now, that was number one. Number two, review what you did in class, go through your notes, and highlight the things that you find hard or confusing, and then in class, ask your teacher everything. Ask your teacher about everything that was unclear. Unless you do this, the teacher cannot know what you don't know or what you find confusing, or what you just what's not clear in your mind, and then the teacher can help you. So go through your notes, go through the exercises, note down all the things that you don't understand, and then ask your teacher in class to explain. There are no silly questions. No silly questions. Just ask. Number 3, learn to use reference books. What are reference books? For example, dictionaries, grammar books, those kinds of books, not like the course books, the books that you're working on, but these additional books that can help you. So when I say books, of course, I also mean, online material, online dictionaries, things like that. But a dictionary is such a treasure, that you can use. Yeah, like I can't imagine a day without an online dictionary. I use them every single day. Then number 4, find a time and place to study where you can concentrate and not be distracted. Now, there is so much activity around us. There's so much noise, so many distractions, and our powers of concentration and tolerance of silence are often quite low. And you need to get used to the silence. Silence is the best thing. Okay, music can help, but try studying in silence as well. So when doing an exam, you're going to be there sitting in a silent room. So you need to get used to sitting in a silent room, working on a paper for an hour and a half and not being able to get up. Okay, so you're not going to be able to get up, to make some noise, to move around. So you need to get used to, sitting still for an hour and a half, and it can be hard. So that should also become our habit. And becoming comfortable with this can be an important part of your progress. That's very interesting. Then the next one is organize your notes and your worksheets and all the papers that all the worksheets that your teacher gives you. So organize these notes so that you can review your work easily and get a sense of your progress. Now, what do? We often push, these notes in a file or in a folder or in a drawer, and we never look at them again. And we should get into this habit of reviewing all these things that we have previously studied. Revising and reviewing is probably the number one thing. The number one, like the most important thing when studying. So that's reviewing. So organize your notes, regularly review what you have studied. Okay, now the next thing is monitor your use of language. So what does that mean? When you're writing or when you're speaking, analyze what you're saying or what you're writing and try to identify and try to correct your own mistakes, and also try to improve what you're saying. So what I'm doing now, for example, is very useful. So you should record yourself as you speak. With writing, it's easy. We have the product, but when we are speaking, it's trickier. So record yourself. and then listen again and again and again, and try to spot those little mistakes and those little areas where you can improve. There's always some room for improvement, but doesn't matter which level you are. Then the next one, the next tip, habit, is ask your teacher for help with anything that is worrying you. And this is related to the one we mentioned before. So what are the problems you can't resolve on your own? Note them down. Ask your teacher for help. No stupid questions. We talked about that, so you can ask. You should be able to ask your teacher whatever questions you have. That's the thing. The next one, be social. Now, you can try to find a page on a topic you're interested in. So, like a blog. So try to find, I don't know if people blog anymore, but I heard they do now. Blogging is becoming popular again. So you can use social media, you can use Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, I don't know what. LinkedIn, for example, and find someone who writes in English and then comment in English. The important thing is that you are interested in the topic. So comment in English, and this will help you practice in the real world, and your reading skills and your writing skills are going to improve with this. Now, these exams that we are preparing for, Cambridge English exams, are designed to test the kind of knowledge used in real communicative contexts. So it would be really good if you could find a way to practice in a real context. So it can be commenting on someone's articles or posts, let's say, or it would be great if you found someone to practice, and if you found someone to communicate with in English on a regular basis. So it can be your friend who is at a similar level as you, it can be your partner, or someone who you would be able to talk in English. That would be a great help. Then there are a few more things, and that's it. Now, there's this top tip I wrote about in this newsletter, and that's keep an independent learning diary. So this should be separated from your diary, your daily diary, but this should be your learning diary. Writing down a clear plan is gonna help you a lot, and you should answer these questions. When are you going to study? So when you're writing down these things in your diary, think about when you're going to study and for how long you're going to study. Number 2, where are you going to study? And number 3, what are you going to study? So write down these things in your diary. So when and where and for how long and what you're going to study. So setting these little goals can help a lot. It can help you get this clear picture of what you have achieved during 1 week or 1 month. It can be a great motivation. So once you have this personal study plan, so let's say you create a weekly plan. Plans are great. It doesn't have to be a monthly plan, but a weekly plan, let's say. That's a great thing. So then, yes, you should have this weekly plan. Then set yourself a reminder on your phone, for example, and when the time comes, go to your room, go to your place and study. Now, also tell your family about your study plans, tell your friends so that they can check up on your progress and, be this little voice in your head that will ask you, like, to hold you accountable, actually. But this is also important. If you can't manage to follow your plan, change it. You know, it's your plan. Make it work for you. It doesn't have to be, it's not set in stone. You can change it. It's okay. Now, how? There are two questions I also mentioned in this newsletter. The first one is, how can you be sure that you're making progress? Sometimes it can be really hard to know whether you're still improving. Sometimes we come to this plateau and we can't see any improvement. We want to go up and climb, you know, the next hill, but it seems that it's just, you know, moving away from us. So people sometimes lose confidence after a while, and they feel they made lots of progress when they first started learning English, but now they feel that somehow it's harder to get better. But the truth is that progress is gradual. It's sometimes slow, you know. But if you are attending your lessons, if you're studying regularly at home, you are definitely improving without even knowing it. And what can we do to check our progress? Okay, the first thing is go back in time. So try to find your old notebook or your old course book from 1 year ago, let's say, or I wrote it here, find an email you wrote in English to someone, an email you wrote 1 year ago, and read it and check the language, check your vocabulary, check the grammar, see if you would write the same thing in the same way now, or you can actually write it in a stronger way, write it better. And this is one great way you can see how much you have improved. So analyze your old work. And the second one is write for the future. This is what I love. So write something for yourself, for your future self. So it can be a story, it can be a letter, it can be some goals, whatever you like. So put that in one envelope, write the date 6 months into the future, and just put it somewhere, but don't forget about it. Put it somewhere you can see it, and open it in 6 months time, and then read it. Or this is something I actually do. There is this website, it's called futureme.org. So you can send an email to your future self. So you can type an email, and then you can schedule it to arrive in 6 months. And then actually this email will arrive to your inbox in 6 months' time. And it's so cool when you get an email from yourself, from your old self, you know. So it's something that's just amazing. So these are the things you can do. So these are some little habits you can do to help you study, to help you improve, to help become this great super learner I would like you to be. Okay, if you have any questions, you can write to me, to my email address, cambridgeenglish.ellen, Gmail, yes. Okay, yes, Gmail. So cambridgeenglish.ellen at gmail.com, or you can get in touch on Instagram. So that's it for today. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye.